Welcome everyone to another episode of the Wazzu Experience, episode 2. I am your host, Alec, and today we have a little something special. We have a special guest. She's also in our club. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Grace Sarver.
And I am here like normal. I'm Jake.
Hi, I'm Marvin.
Like always, giving us the good old Marvin intro. But today's a special day. We have a student athlete on, Grace. She plays for the women's basketball team here at WSU, and I'm just going to dive straight into it. So I kind of want to know what made you choose WSU? What was your motivation for going through being a student athlete? What's your story basically?
So I've actually started playing basketball when I was like in second grade or something. My dad coached a rec team with me and all my friends all back home. So I've been playing for a while. And I'm actually always, when I was thinking about going to college, I never wanted to go anywhere in Washington just because I'm from Seattle, right up the road. Now we always just wanted to try something new and kind of get out of the state. So junior year, I also got recruited by Clemson, and I really liked the coaches. I really liked all the team. I went and I did my official visit there and I loved it. But then their coaches got fired. So I was kind of like, oh crap, what do I do? So I started reaching out to other coaches and then so at the time too, WSU just got new head coaches too for women. So they reached out to me and was like, hey, like I've seen your play, blah, blah, blah. And I just connected with them right away. And I probably committed like a month later. It was super quick.
I was gonna ask, did you were you aware of the women's program at WSU before you eventually met the new coaches, or were you not?
Yeah, I did. So they were coached by June before, and I mean, I liked her, but I didn't really like get along with her. Well, no, I got along with her, but I don't know. It just wasn't really the fit for me. But these new coaches, they just had like a whole entire new program, new like team culture that they wanted to bring up. And I just loved them. So I said, sure.
Do you like go for WSU because of the coach, or you think like the system is great and you chose WSU?
Coaches.
So that's like the most important factor for you, was the coaches. Is that because you have had that like growing up in Seattle, like you've always felt a strong connection with your coaches, and that's always been something that's like been a huge part of your journey with basketball? Is that like, would that be accurate?
Yeah, well, it was more I've been on like many different teams and played on many different sports, and I've just noticed like the coach is what makes you have fun or is what makes you enjoy it. Like, yes, the team does too, but if you truly don't get along with your coach, you're gonna just hate playing wherever you play. So they were definitely the main.
Have you ever tried any other sports and then you feel like you're still connected to basketball?
I mean, yeah, I used to play volleyball, and it was like, I think anything with the hands, it kind of all connects, if I had to say.
Gotcha. Yeah. So last podcast we kind of touched on about how COVID has impacted our collegiate experiences and everything, and I kind of want to ask here, how has COVID like impacted you as like a college athlete, and how would you compare it like versus back when it was like normal and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing COVID has impacted would just be like the crowd and kind of feeling like WSU's behind us, just because like we weren't as good last year. We didn't make a tournament at all, but this year we finally made the NCAA tournament. And I would get text messages from random people like saying, oh, we watched your game, blah, blah, blah. But I think it just would have been so cool to actually see people like at our game cheering us on. Like we knew everyone was there, but COVID made it like kind of made us feel like more alone, if that makes sense.
Was it like awkward when you guys like score or something and then it's like, oh, there's no one cheering and it's just so quiet?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, well, when I play, I kind of block out the crowd anyways, but you would have like your teammates cheering you on, and we never really had that big of a crowd before. So probably for someone like Oregon, where they get a packed stadium, they're like, oh, dang. But for us, we're like, ha, we're used to it, you know?
Oh man,
That makes
that's a
sense,
bummer.
though. That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Stick it to them like that. That's crazy. I feel like what do you think has been the weirdest part besides the crowd, or I guess, well, if there was a crowd, if there isn't a crowd, has there been anything about the logistics of COVID testing? Like, how has that been? Has it been obtrusive to your guys' experience and growth as a team, or?
Well, I would just say, honestly, in general, just the whole COVID thing has definitely made our team closer. Just because with it, like in season, we didn't really hang out with like any other people because we didn't want to get COVID. And we kind of just hung out with each other, and it made us really tight, which I'm really grateful for. But on the COVID aspect, we got tested every day. We would get like an antigen test every day before practice. And then we would get PCR tests like every Monday, and like sometimes we would get it during the week. Or if we went, if we had to travel, you'd have to get 2 negative PCRs, and then you would also get like this tracker you would wear just in case. Like, so you would travel, and then you'd get another PCR there, and let's say that tested positive, your tracker could tell like like if you were near enough with them, if you had to. So you would travel, and then you would PCR there, and if you tested positive for your PCR, they would go and look at your tracker to see if you were like in close contact, to see if you also needed to quarantine.
So wow, that's really strict. Were you guys, when you went on away, you had to travel for away games and or tournaments, like how was it? Like, you guys stay in hotels, so like how is that? Like, is it really strict in terms of you guys can't leave, you got to stay together? Like, that's got to be the weirdest experience, I feel like, especially traveling.
Yeah, so it wasn't as bad like in season. Like, you couldn't really leave the hotel room at all, but I got a buddy, like, and I got my roommate, which is actually really nice. So they kind of all like first made our roomies people who like either you live with or that you're like super close with, just so like contact wise it would kind of work out better. But when we went to Pac-12 and NCAA, you were like rooming by yourself, and you had like set times that you could only leave your room to pick up your food, and you had to go straight back. Like, you couldn't be outside at all. It was that, I'm going to be honest, that was probably the hardest part, was just staying in your room the entire time. And one would think like, oh, you just do your homework. You wouldn't do your homework. I don't know what no, I would never do my homework. It was horrible. I just sit.
Nice. One question I have is, like, since everything is online, do you guys train more? Since your coach might be like, hey, you guys are online school, so you don't have to walk so much in school, it's just come to training and stuff like that. Do you guys train more?
No, so actually, we have like set hours we can have every week. So right now, because we're in spring season, we can only have 8 hours a week, and that's including like weights, conditioning, and practice. So right now we practice 4 days a week, and then we condition and do weights like the other. So it adds up to 8 hours. But I think in season we can either have like 16 or 24 a week. So it's just like dependent on that. But no, you can't have more time. But I will say, sorry.
You're good.
It's actually nicer because we have a lot more flexible schedules. So we can all like, last year we used to have to practice at like 6 o'clock, but now because we all have Zoom, and like most of them aren't in person that you don't have to be with, like now we can practice at 2, which is really nice.
Yeah, that must be really nice, especially since, a lot of the classes, I don't know, I'm sure with the way that you have your own athletic advisor, right, that helps you like schedule for classes. I know somebody who's in like, they're in the honors college, they're an athlete, and they have their major advisor, and they have 3 like different advisors, and I'm like, that's gotta be extremely complicated. I don't know how you guys sort that out, but I'm sure with the online environment, you are able to attend like what do they call it, asynchronous classes where they don't actually meet at all? Like that, I mean, do you take any of those, or are they all Zoom classes? Like live?
Mine are mostly all asynchronous. Like I have some business classes that we have to be there for. But actually the best part is now when we do travel, we don't actually miss class, or like we can go back and watch lectures. Like usually if we travel and like say you're gone for a week, you just miss an entire week of lectures and you're kind of screwed. So it's actually nice.
Dang, that sounds really rough. Like basically a whole week of class, I'd definitely like fall behind easily.
Yeah.
Holy moly. And on the topic of academics, I know we're hammering you with questions, but what's your major, by the way?
Yeah. Well, okay. It's actually I'm double majoring in finance and marketing, and I'm minoring in digital
Ooh.
technology and culture. I know it's a lot.
Dang, where'd you go?
You're trying to stay here for 5 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for you. And also I have a question that I've been wanting to ask like a student athlete since like day one. So on the topic of academics, how are you balancing out academics with your athletic performance? Like how does one balance that out, and how's that been for you?
Yeah, well, like what Jake was saying, we have like a lot of advisors, and a lot of them are mostly just texting us like, hey, have you done blah 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 yet? Like, are you doing your homework? So that really helps. We also get like free tutors. Like you can sign up for a tutor. So if you are struggling in a class, it's actually really nice because you can be like, hey, I need help, get me a tutor, and you can just get a tutor. But for me, I use my handy dandy scheduling book or calendar, and I like plan out my entire day. Get like I'll put my practice times in, put like class times in, and then put like you need to get this homework done, and that's what really helps me.
Do you use Google Calendar, or do you write
No,
it?
I should, but we
should.
use a thing called like arms.
Oh, is it like an app or something? Okay. I've been using Google Calendar, and I'll have a busy schedule because I'm like involved in way too many clubs and all sorts of other activities here on the campus. So I have like sometimes I'll have really busy weeks, and I honestly don't think I would have the grades that I have unless I was using Google Calendar. Like without Google Calendar, I would be lost. Like I know that it's just so much helpful. It's way better to have. And then it's funny. I know Marvin wants to say something because he is a athletics tutor actually. So Marvin, speak on that.
Yeah, I am an athletics tutor, and then I tutor like anyone who needs help with math or some stuff. Most of my subject that I tutor are math, like math 171, math 101, 103. I have one student who is like for history 105. So I just like to proofread and stuff like that. But sometimes I feel like your workload is so much that you guys have to go work out, you have to practice, and then on top of that, you have to still do your homework. So I want to know like how do you find that energy to do everything?
Well, I honestly, you have to nap. Like you have to make time for homework, practice, nap, because you're not getting it all done. So I nap probably like an hour a day, maybe less, maybe more, it just depends. But yeah, naps are crucial, and that's naps, coffee. That's what I do.
Heck yeah, the college diet right there. Napping and getting some Starbucks. That's how it works. Good stuff.
On the topic of like like what you eat and what you consume, I mean, for athletes, I know you guys have like all sorts of accommodations for the food and whatever. I don't even know. I think Marvin knows a little bit about it, but are they pretty strict about what you eat? Like, do they take that really serious, or is it more lax than it would seem?
It's honestly a lot more lax. Like you like it's kind of more up to you if you want it, like how you want it to be. Like you can go in and you can say like, hey, I'm trying to get like to this weight, or I'm thinking about going on this diet, what do you think? They give you supplements, and they're really big on protein. Like after a workout, protein. So we do that. We also have like this thing called CAT. It's at like the Grey Dub or the football building, where they give at least basketball lunches and dinners, which is really nice. So you get like protein on it, usually a lot of carbs, stuff like that.
And so are you pretty lax then about what you eat, or are you
Yeah, I'm
strict?
gonna
Because
be
I know
honest.
it differs from person to person.
It does. I don't really watch what goes in my body. I eat like dessert every night. I shouldn't, but I do. So yeah, it just depends on the athlete.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends, and it depends on what sport too. I mean, different sports require, like, I feel like people who are in track, I know it doesn't seem like a very like favorable, like it's not a very like people don't look at track as a very interesting sport, but I know that diet in track and track and field for runners and sprinters is like everything. So there's some sports where it's like everything, and you need to maximize all your nutrition to get maximum performance. But in a sport like basketball, you can kind of get away with not sticking to a super strict diet because it's more about your physical capability. There's so much more. I would say the mental aspect of basketball, I played it myself in high school, and I know how important it is. You can't make it to the college level with pure physical ability. The mental side is super important. And going into that, like when you were getting recruited for playing basketball, uh, like what was the thing that they were recruiting you for? What was your like what were you best at? And then how do you think you've changed and developed while you've been at WCU?
Yeah. Honestly, they said they really liked my intangibles. I would say I'm kind of like an energy player. Like I kind of like feed off of I don't know. I don't know what I feed off of, but I
Your
kind of just like
defense?
I'm kind of a spark, I would say, or is how like some people just describe me.
You pop
So
off.
They call it the X factor.
so yeah, I guess that's kind of I don't know me.
That makes sense. And then do you think it's changed since you've been at WCU, or have you kind of stuck to that role and really thrived?
Yeah, no, I would say I stuck to it. I don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marvin.
Do you think you're in your prime time, like you're at your best performance right now, or you still have so much more room for improvement?
Oh, so much more room for improvement. Like after season, when we lost the NCAA tournament, the coaches were like, "You guys got to do this, and this in your off season. We're blah 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 blah." Like, congrats on the season.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, you're crushing it this off season.
I'm sure. I mean, in college, I feel like it's crazy the pace at which coaches get fired. Like it's like I feel like it's like cutthroat. Like you
It
can't
is.
you can't be in a position as a college coach, and you can't settle. Like it's got to be the most cutthroat environment for a job. Like I don't know, because you've already
Well,
spoken about that a little bit.
it's performance based. It's like so I know like the UW coaches, they got hired for 5 years and they're like, if you don't make it to the NCAA tournament, you're getting fired. And they didn't make it and they got fired. So it's kind of just if you're not performing, if your team isn't doing well, you're not staying, is how it is.
Dang. That's
I can,
harsh.
but
It's
but
intense.
it be like that, and the news, you see it all the time. All these coaches, especially after tournaments, like if a coach doesn't make it to a tournament, like you just said, fired. Even if a coach is making it to the tournament but losing, fired. It's like, and it happens in football, basketball. I'm sure pretty much every sport is happening. And I would hate to, honestly, personally, like I would hate to be a college coach. That would seem like the most stressful job ever.
Oh, horrible.
Even in high school, because I had coaches, because I switched high schools a few times, but one of the high schools that I played at, once we lost and like once the season was over, the entire coaching staff got fired. And it's not just the head coach. The head coach picks everybody, I think, right? Yeah. Something like that. And it's like if the head coach gets fired, everybody gets fired. And that's got to be the like weirdest feeling. I would feel so not sturdy in that job. Like that's the pressure for them has to be insane.
It's that, and it's kind of like as a player picking like you got to pick somewhere where either like my coach is staying, because you don't want like sophomore year or junior year your coach get fired, then you're like, oh, like now a new, like it's just it's not a you just got to think about it.
See, that makes more sense when you said how your biggest factor for choosing a school is the coaches. and especially the head coach. That makes a lot of sense because it's like you could go to a school and then immediately those coaches could be fired and you're left with maybe a new coach, and maybe you love the new coach, maybe you hate the new coach. I mean, it could be a good thing, but you said like you liked to go to the school where you feel like you fit in, and the coach creates that culture. And so if you go to that school and the culture changes because the coaches get fired, then it's like all of a sudden that school may not be the fit for you. So that's very so how is the coach? So you're still with the same coaches, I presume? Okay, and is that going well? I mean, you guys made it to the tournament. That's got to be great. I think the job's okay for now.
So so they're 3 years in, and it's just, I mean, so the year that I came in is kind of when like all of their players were kind of in here, so I didn't like really know what the culture was before, but I just heard that it did change a lot, and I don't know.
They say that a lot. I watched some of these YouTube videos, and it was like a compilation of college coaches saying the word culture, and they said it like a billion times. They say it in like every interview. They're like, we're going to change the culture, culture. And they just like say that 1,000 times. And I'm like, that's really interesting. But how many coaches actually do that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like why they sell themselves as we're going to change the culture. But it just seems like, does it really happen? I don't know.
If you win, it does. If I had
it seems like if you win. So I guess my question is, do you think winning in college at any level, like, you know, men's, women's, whatever, for basketball at least, do you think the winning is more about the coaching or the players? And that's a tough question because you probably want to say both, but
I would say coaching.
Coaching, really?
Because the coaching, I think a coach can take like a really good coach can take a mediocre player to be great, but just a mediocre coach can make can take a really good player and make a mediocre, if that makes sense.
Well spoken.
Spoken like a true student athlete. So that's got to be crazy though. I was just because like coaches can do two things really. They can cultivate players into better players, right? Or they can try to the game plan, right? What's your game plan? What plays are you running? I mean, those types of things. Are you playing zone? Are you playing man? There's a lot of options that they have control over. So it seems like you can have good players, or you can have good plays, and you can have a good game plan, but also it's really important is cultivating the players. And as I feel like, have the coaches really at WSU at least, have they emphasized like cultivating all of you as players? Has that been like a really big emphasis?
Yeah. So we have like a end of year meeting every year, and we talk about like what you need to work on, how we're going to get you there, and blah, blah, blah. And they always think about like spots on the floor. Like there are like certain spots that they put like direct people in just because they're like, this is where you do best. And this is where you do best. Like, yeah, honestly, coaching, it's truthfully like a puzzle. Like you just have to put the perfect pieces together where everyone like does their best in like different aspects of the game. And you like, as a coach, you're like, okay, I have to put her here because this is where she does really well. I don't know. I just think it's cool.
I agree.
So my question is like, what are the personality of a good coach and a bad coach? Like, if you can give like in details, it would be great. But if not, a general answer would be okay too.
Yeah. I mean, I would say investment, like if your coach isn't the most invested human being in your team, you're not doing well. Like I know for us, we'll play a game, and like on the bus ride back to the hotel, our coaches will already be watching film from the game. Like they're just so like eat, breathe basketball. Like that's purely what they do, I swear to God. But I would also say like a hunger, like they always want to get better, you know, like there's no stop in like what they want to achieve. Rather like players, like sometimes you can get stagnant, or I think when a coach gets stagnant and gets like happy in where they are, that's when they're not good anymore. I mean, I don't know, but that's what I
if they get too complacent.
Yeah.
That's where it gets troublesome.
So I have a question here. So knowing you, like, you're like super like invested, you're like your schedules are like pretty much full. Do you have any time to like socialize or go out and party and like have like a good time in like your free time, or how do you do things like that?
Yeah, I would say like definitely in season, not as much. That's when you mostly just stick to your team. But out of season, like we get weekends off, which is really nice. So we can kind of do anything then. Or like I just went on a trip with my family. So like
Oh,
you
nice.
can still do things, but like you have to plan ahead. Like
Gotcha,
it
yeah.
needs to kind of be planned out. If you're not like, oh, let's just do this on a whim.
Let's go out on a Friday. Let's go.
That doesn't work for student athletes.
Nice. My question would be like, do you guys have any strict rules, like the things where you guys are not allowed to do? Like once you guys do it, you guys are out from the team. Are there anything like that?
I know like if you test positive for a drug test, this isn't for every team, but I think our coaches told us that you're gonna be kicked. So, but yeah.
No tolerance. No
Don't do drugs,
tolerance.
kids.
That was a very, very specific question, Marvin. Why did you ask that?
Hey, it's Marvin.
Marvin got all sorts of different perspectives.
He does.
From Malaysia. Marvin, do they play basketball in Malaysia?
Yeah, of course. I played basketball when I was like in primary school up until I was like grade 6, and then I changed to soccer.
Hey.
Football. You mean football? What do they call it soccer?
I call it football, but for you guys, I call it soccer.
Oh, thank you.
Just for you guys.
We appreciate that.
Consider it.
Nice.
That's really. Were you good, Marvin? What happened?
No, I just play for fun, and that's it. I don't have any special training. I didn't pay for a coach, so I just play for fun.
Nothing compared to college.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I think it's good that people play for fun. I think that's how everyone starts, is they play for fun. And then sometimes, I don't know, like some people will just get really into it, and it's crazy how you can think about how people pick a sport and how they develop in that sport. Because some people just play it because other people play it or their friends play it. You see people start to like fizzle out, right? It goes from like elementary school to middle school, and then by middle school to high school, a ton of people stop playing. And then after the first year of high school, a ton of people stop playing, and you start to dwindle down to like who's left, who's left in junior, senior year, and who's taking it serious. And I believe like it, especially in the United States, when everyone has an opportunity to really work hard and actually get recruited and get like scholarships and help pay for your higher education for going to college, I think it's an amazing opportunity to be able to go play a sport or something that you do, something you love basically, and be able to like benefit. You get the best of both worlds. And although it's very stressful, I'm sure, Grace, you can attribute to the fact that it's like probably the best decision you've ever made, I would hope. You have no regrets, I would hope, right?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. No, like I like basketball, I would say probably is my life, but I'm happy. Like I love doing it. So it doesn't like, I don't view it as like, oh, I'm like consumed by it. I'm like, oh yeah, like I play it every day,
Nice. So are you like going on more of that topic, becoming really good and, choosing that path? Are you wanting to like eventually play in like the women's NBA, or are you going to more focus on like after school, your academics, and like go on that sort of path instead of athletics after college?
I think, I mean, if I got the chance to, I probably would, just because I've spent so much time doing it. I more really want to go to Europe, just because I think it'd be super cool to do. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's definitely not out of the picture, but I'm also like making like, I'm not planning it to be end goal. Like, I have other aspirations.
When you say go to Europe, is that like separate from basketball or?
Oh no, like play overseas.
Okay, yeah, like Euro League. Okay, yeah, that's definitely, there's a lot of alternatives as basketball players and a lot of sports, right? But I know basketball players and you know, not everyone can make it to the highest level, but there's a lot of in betweens, and there's a lot of professional levels, you know, overseas. And actually, I've met a few players in my time, like EuroLeague players in the men's sports, like, and it definitely seems like a crazy life. Like you're playing in a different country in Europe, and you traveling in Europe and playing. It's like that would blow my mind. Except for that, the fact that their court is like a triangle. Like, what is up with their free throw lines? It's like, do you know what I mean?
No, I'm gonna be. I haven't never really looked, to be honest.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what they call it, like FIBA, right? Isn't that what they call it for the world? Yeah, I don't. But they have like weird. They have a like. It's a different set of rules. That's all I know.
There is. So I guess on free throws they can like stick their foot in and out of the line to like kind of bait. I don't know.
Yeah, and also they have goaltending, like, or whatever the hell it's called, goaltending, right? Where they have like more rules. I don't know how it works though, because girls probably can't even do that.
I was about to say girls can't even goaltend, so
the guys can do it, and so it's messed up. But the girls probably can't, so it's probably fine.
Man, what the heck is that? Get some equality out here.
Hey, Grace, I'm curious. Did you hear what Shaq said? You didn't? Do you not watch the news?
Sorry, no.
Not everyone watches the news, Jake. All right. Jake's over here 4.0. He's an intellectual.
Chill out. It was just a funny thing on the news, or like no, I say the news. I say like sport news. I mean sport news. I mean like what's the TNT where you have like Shaquille O'Neal and Candace Parker and you know all of them. Right, you know what I'm talking about, right? So they do those, like, you know, Charles Barkley, those types of things. I just remember there was a few weeks ago or a month ago or something, Shaq like brought up that he's like to make the WNBA more exciting, you guys should lower the rims by. You remember now.
I did hear this.
I was like, you had to have heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. I already find it kind of stupid that we play with a smaller ball, just because we can't shoot a heavier ball, like. Or,
is it the fact that it's heavier? I feel like it's just the palm size.
Which could be, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think he said it. He just said it to frustrate Candace Parker on live television. But I think it was just weird. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, it would never work. Because how would you lower the rims? That doesn't even make sense. Because you would have to change every high school. You would have to install a hoop just for the girls.
Well,
that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, well, they like pushed the men's 3-point line back this year for college.
Wait, they did? Wait,
different 3-point lines.
So how does that work for you guys? Don't you guys use those same court?
Now there's just like 2 free throw lines. I mean, wait, I meant 3-point lines.
3 point.
Okay, yeah. 3-point lines on the arc, if you guys look at it.
Oh, so it's that makes so one's for you guys, or for the girls, and one's for the guys. And they push back the guy. They used to be the same. Okay, I mean that makes sense, honestly. Actually, I feel like it would, but I don't know how far they push back the men's.
Nah, it's like 1 foot.
It doesn't really do anything, in my opinion.
No, it doesn't.
The court dynamics, it's like a science, honestly. There's all sorts of, it is, right? Because you know, coaches have to know that stuff, and there's all sorts of like analytics and data that goes into that type of analysis of the court. That stuff's always super interesting. I don't think, like, for me, I don't think I would ever go into that field, because I don't know. I feel like for me, if I wanted to ever play a sport, like play basketball, like I used to play basketball, I would only want to be a player. I just feel like I wouldn't thrive in the industry. I wouldn't want to be a coach. I don't know.
Oh my God, my mom's like, Grace, like, do you ever want to coach when you're older? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no.
It's just like a weird.
Get on the sidelines and be like, oh yeah. But I'm not coaching.
No, I mean, even like training, like if you were like a personal trainer or like a trainer, I can't even do that. I'm like, no,
trainer would be better. I just think personally, especially in like high school, like A, you have to deal with players. B, you have to deal with parents. And parents, I think, are horrid.
That is facts. My mom was terrible. I told my mom to stop coming. I swear I told my mom to stop coming to my games because it was that bad. So I'm serious.
That's
Dang,
horrible. And
ruthless.
no,
She's so bad. It was so bad. You have no idea.
No, I've been
You
there.
do. You have the idea, but it's just I don't know. I just can't.
No, I got you. Yeah.
Marvin, do you have a question?
Yeah, my question was for way back when it was like with gender inequalities. So since you guys are talking about that topic, so I was just wondering why are female basketball players not getting paid as much as male basketball players? Like, why?
Yeah. You tell me. No, I'm kidding. Right now it's
Okay.
kind of like just about revenue income. Yet you can see with like the women's soccer team, they make more revenue than the men's and they still don't get paid as much. So who knows, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a super dicey topic, honestly.
Yeah, very.
It goes
very,
both
very
ways,
political.
but I
Not
don't
political.
know. It's cool. I think it's cool at least that the NBA, for example, is willing to they're willing to keep the WNBA for like how many years? They're like, we're keeping it for 20 years. Like they're not gonna let it go down, basically. Like they're gonna make up for the losses if there's any losses. They're willing to hedge that in the future it's gonna be more popular and that people will start to, enjoy it. And that's a whole nother topic. Super important though. I think it's very important. And there was that controversy during the March Madness tournament too about the I don't know, girls got like a yoga mat and like a dumbbell. And then the guys got like probably state-of-the-art technology. What did you guys experience when you went?
Yeah, like the photos were legit. What I more think is like they got a lot bigger like NCAA gift. And my only thing is, everyone keeps saying men like they get the bigger weight room, they get more stuff because they bring in more revenue. But that isn't how the NCAA works. It's like Title IX. They don't get like any revenue from it. B, whatever revenue they do get, they have to divide it equally. Like that's what people aren't understanding is it doesn't matter if you make more or not because it's the NCAA still. You can't like really make anything off of it. But like you have to get the same, like whatever, how much goes to boys has to go to girls. Like it's just how it works out. So what my more thing is, they got so much more stuff in their NCAA gift package than we did. And I personally think that is the easiest thing to make equal because it's a gift. Like, just give us the same stuff.
That actually makes a lot of sense. That's crazy too that they don't even like plan that to give everyone the same amount of gifts. That's really unfortunate. I mean, that's messed up, definitely. It's cool that you get things though. That's got to be awesome at least. Like it's got to be better than nothing.
No, it is.
You get lots of perks, lots of stuff. I'm sure again, it's way different. Like I'm sure the football team, for example, like just based on WCU alone, gets like so much stuff. And I know the men's basketball team does.
Well, actually, what's weird is because the football team's so big, they have like 150 dudes or something. They only get like one sweatsuit a year just because there's so many of them, while like the men's basketball team gets like 5 just because there's only
that is interesting actually.
15 max. Yeah.
That makes more sense. Football rosters are huge. I played football for 1 year and I'm just like, I was like third string. I'm like, how do we have a third string? There's so many like people on a football team. I can't even comprehend. It's a complex sport. Alec, did you ever play football?
Yeah, I played football for a couple of years, and then I broke my freaking knee almost.
Injuries. Don't even get started on injuries.
Yeah.
Grace, how are the injuries? How are we doing?
Body's been better, to be honest.
It's been better or could be better?
Could be better. Been better.
Could be better.
All the above.
What's the most annoying one that you have that's like reoccurring?
Knee. Oh God.
The knee?
Never hurt a knee. It always comes back. I'm telling you now.
Oh.
Was
it like an MCL or ACL?
No, it was like a patellar tendon. I
Mm,
don't even know what you call it. Inflammation type of thing. It hurt
yeah.
me all last year, so I didn't play for like half the season last year. And then when summer hit, I was like, all right, like I'll get surgery done. I got surgery done, was out for like 2 months, 2 to 3 months, came back, and it just bothers me still. And I'm like, what the
Yeah.
heck?
I definitely can agree with that. As they say, knees weak, arms are heavy, mom spaghetti. But I had an injury similar to that. It was in football. Like I injured my knee like pretty bad, and like I moved my disc plate in my knee like a couple millimeters, and so one leg is a little bit bigger than I'm a little taller than another, but yeah, I still feel like the effects today. Like it sucks. But knee injuries are just terrible. I mean,
I would say backs
backs are
always
definitely tough
come
too.
back.
Mhm.
They're not bad though. But
I
yeah.
would, it's, yeah, those are tough. And I would, it's so challenging to try to like go through rehab and then try not to injure it in the future. My notorious injury is ankles. I'm the weak
Same.
ankles. Like
Same.
I'm Stephen Curry with the weak ankles. Like my ankles are just gone. Like I don't know. It's so bad. It's embarrassing how bad it is. I don't even understand. I started doing prehab. I call it prehab. It's preventing your future rehab. So that's what you got to do at some point. You just have to do prehab, and you're doing 24/7 like therapy or for the entire year just to prevent injury. Not even to like deal with one, just to prevent it, because you know it's going to come back. Do you experience that? Do you do that at all?
Oh yeah, like sometimes like before a lift, I'll make sure like I stretch out or something like that. But with ankles, our coaches make us tape before anything
really?
we're doing. Walk through, yep, we're taping. It doesn't even matter.
Wait, all of you?
All of us. Tape or ankle brace.
You guys got to be careful with that because that's dangerous.
What, taping?
Yeah, if you constantly tape and you constantly ankle brace, that's gonna weaken your ankles.
I did hear that. Yeah, if
It's
you
a
got
fact.
weak
It's a
ankles,
guaranteed
I got
fact.
weak ankles.
It's weird. It's like reverse psychology. You would think that wearing a brace would help you, but at some point it actually weakens the muscle that's supposed to be strong, and then it incites future injury because your muscles that are supposed to be strong aren't supporting. So then it incites future injury, and that causes recurring problems. That's why you can get away with it though, because I know Steph Curry. He has always, right? He always rocks 2 ankle braces, I believe. So he gets away with it. I don't know how he gets away with it, but generally, I know you're not supposed to tape, or you're not supposed to at least ankle brace. Tape might be better. I think tape's a little better, but it's definitely, if they're forcing you guys to all tape, I'd be concerned for the future of your ankles.
Hey, but it's
I don't mind it. I feel secure in my tape or my ankle brace.
What shoes are you rocking?
What am I rocking right now? Kobe's, actually.
Kobe's. Tell me you guys are all wearing old shoes. Like the shoes in the past 3 years have been trash.
Yeah, no, I am at least. Yeah.
I knew it. I don't even keep up anymore with the shoes that come out because they're so bad. I'm like, why would you wear any of the new shoes? It's just so bad. I don't know what they're doing. Who's designing them? But you guys must be rocking like PG1s, PG2s, Kobe's, like any of the Kobe's really, not the
any
newer
of the Kobe's.
Some of the newer Kobe's are a little sus. Does anyone wear LeBrons? Because I just think that's like probably the worst shoe ever. Yeah, okay, at least we can have some agreement there.
Nice. So yeah, no, like yeah.
Wait, there's one more thing. Before we end this podcast, I'm curious about your kind of like, I don't know how to phrase this. What is your relationship like with the trainers that you have? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like not the like the people who you go to like when you have an injury or icing or all that stuff. Because I know in high school, I made a great relationship with the trainer at our school. And I imagine that in college, it could be the same. I don't know though. So I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I know, like I said, with my knee, I was out for like half a season, had to do rehab, all that. So me and her, we're like besties.
That makes
I
sense.
probably go in there every time, like, Mal, I hurt, or her name is Mallory. I'm like, Mal, I hurt, blah, blah, blah. She goes, Grace, what do you like? Probably I come in with it. I think everyone does. You come in at least once a week saying, Mal, blah, blah, blah hurts today. I don't know why. Can you help me? But yeah, I would say a good relationship.
Definitely, because I had such a great relationship with, I would say I went to a few high schools, and the trainers that were at my high schools, each of them, they were awesome. I really like, they're always great people. I don't know why, right? But they're always so great. And they're usually might have been like way younger, like they've been like just out of college or something, but they're always so nice. And I had such a great relationship with the trainer at my high school. And I imagine it's like you just said, like it's a great especially when you're having injuries. You definitely grow a great connection with them. But I would have my injuries, but I would never, or I always went in anyways, because again, I call it prehab. You would just be in there with them no matter what. It was like routine. I would just go routinely. We would work on stuff, even if I wasn't injured. And I think that's really smart to prevent future injury.
It is.
Definitely fix those knees up.
Knees are weak, and ankles. So I know we're hitting our time mark here for the podcast. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Does anyone have any final questions for Grace here?
Or Grace, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, Grace, you want to say anything? Any ending statements?
Any shout outs?
Shout outs.
I'm just joking. No one watches it.
I would
In the
say just
future.
shout out women's basketball. You guys should really watch a game next year if you can.
Yeah,
we got to. And do you guys have preseason or spring season? I don't know how that works. What's your next like training and seasons and preseasons looking like?
Yeah, so we're in spring season right now, and then we have we're actually about to get off, which is nice. And then we come back in like June, July, and we have summer session, and then that'll go into preseason and all that jazz.
Nice.
Hopefully next year is a little better with the whole COVID vaccines and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness.
If you guys get some, in-person games and people can actually come attend, I'm sure people are gonna just come attend because they can, if they like.
And just because sports are open again.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's
get a lot more people going, and I'm hoping for the best this fall semester. I really am. And on that note, you guys have it there. Spring sessions, summer sessions. So go attend a women's basketball game or any sport in general. It's going to be awesome. Again, thank you, Grace. Let's give a round of applause for Grace.
Yes, thank you, Grace. Thank you. This has been fantastic.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Thank you for answering all of our dull questions. We've been hammering you left and right, but definitely it was.
Hey, they weren't that dull.
No. It was interesting seeing from an athletics perspective and everything, and it was definitely great having you on. Thank you again, Grace. We're gonna go ahead and end it here, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Wazzu Experience, and stay tuned for future podcasts for more interviews like this and stories. Thank you again, and have a good one.